Hello, St. Louis, and welcome to OnSTL.com.
Our segment today is brought to you by Clayton's Bakery and Deli in Des Peres, offering fresh-made baked goods, hearty sandwiches made with the finest meats and cheeses, and fresh baked bread right from the bakery. 11744 Manchester Road in Des Peres.
You no longer have to get lost in St. Louis, although getting lost in St. Louis is always fun. But thanks to Amanda Doyle and the Guide to St. Louis, which, by the way, has a formal title. We call it the Guidebook to St. Louis, but it's finally a locally produced guidebook to St. Louis by and for St. Louisans, neighborhood by neighborhood.
Oh, you know what? Isn't that the thing, though? Do you get that from other cities, that we're a neighborhood of neighborhoods?
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. People notice it when they come here.
You think? Because you can't really go to just like one place. You have to go to this neighborhood and that neighborhood.
Well, and they feel different. And you know, people will say like, oh, well, this is our neighborhood coffee shop, or this is our neighborhood market, or whatever. So I think we have a really unique identity in that way.
The flavors from neighborhood to neighborhood, the styles, the differences in architecture.
Do you think we're ever going to come together and have a place where tourists can go that is like the place?
A lot of people think that they are the place. So let's don't tell them otherwise.
That's for sure.
Well, you reflect that well in your video on your website, which is, by the way, at stlguidebook.com.
Great. So now I have to go update it because now people are going to go look.
Good.
So that's a good kick in the pants.
What interests me is that you featured Ferguson.
Yes.
In there. And boy, Ferguson looks beautiful, unlike it did last night.
Right.
But I find that interesting. Did you already spend time in Ferguson as a child? or
Not as a child, although it seems like it. It was about, that video was made about 5 years ago. But I have really dear friends who live in Ferguson. People I went to college with, I've known for a long time. So that was my introduction to Ferguson, actually, was through them. They live there and they teach there. So I've spent a lot of time there.
Where are you from? Where do you
originally
live?
Now where do I live? Oh, I'm all over the place. Right now I live in Tower Grove South. That's where I've lived since I've been in St. Louis.
Are you a native St. Louisan?
No, I'm from Memphis originally.
How about that?
There
Did you do this in Memphis?
No, I should. But unfortunately, I don't know Memphis well enough now since I've been in St. Louis for 17 years.
Well, it's very obvious you show a real love for St. Louis.
I mean, you came here, you thought, hey, this city's got it going on, and not like we see because we're in here every day. So you probably thought, let's do something about it.
Yeah, it was kind of just a getting to know the place. We both were very fortunate to fall in with Metropolis St. Louis right then, right at the time it was getting started. So, you know, we were just in with a bunch of rabble-rousing city lovers, basically. and that's how I got to know, you know, a lot of things about the city.
So do you still find yourself acting like a tourist in this town?
Totally. Not as much as I wish I could. But yes, I love to, talking about getting lost in St. Louis, I love to get lost in St. Louis because...
So what was your biggest surprise in doing that and just driving around, something that you saw? I'll tell you mine if you'll tell me yours.
You start and I'll think.
All right. Okay. It's called Clifton Heights.
Oh.
Isn't that the coolest? Okay, what is yours?
How about you?
Well, there's so many. I'll tell you one that I became familiar with when my friends bought a house there. It's just north of Del Mar. If you turn on Hamilton, there are several, you know, there are a lot of private streets in the Central West End. So this is a little bit west of the West End.
Fountain Park?
Close.
Okay.
Cabiny Place is the street they live
on.
Yeah.
These houses, unreal. And my friends bought this massive, completely in need of total rehab place. But I mean,
a money pit. They bought a
money pit. But you couldn't,
one you love.
You couldn't build that today with all the money in the world. So, and it's just astonishing.
And it just doesn't exist anywhere on the West Coast or anything. It's just, they don't have it.
And there's a little kind of back walk over to the Metro stop. You know, I mean, it just, to me, was like, where is this? So
now, do you feel this? We feel this here at Honest TL, that there's this resurgence of energy, creative energy in St. Louis. Things like STL Style House. People like that are just doing cool things. Metropolis, you mentioned. They're just doing cool things in this town.
For sure. And it's, you know, it's a low risk place, which I guess some people find, it's that kind of sleepy reputation, right? If you're used to like 24/7, nonstop, go, go, go. Well, it's not like that a lot of places here. However, you can move here, probably buy a house or at least rent an amazing apartment, have a job, still have time to do your other thing if you want to, and not be eating ramen all the time. You know, I mean, you can
and feel supported.
You know,
community supports it.
The CVC says it's all within reach, and it really is. It's stuff is within reach here that you couldn't do in other cities.
And not just the cost, which is huge, but also access. I mean, you can get to know the people you want to get to know. There's not a lot of levels. You know what I mean?
You don't spend 2 hours of your life on the freeway. You know,
there
there's
you
that
go.
every day. So
I know I have a good friend from LA who comes and I'm always apologizing. It's going to take 20 minutes to get there. She's like, yeah, okay. I'm not worried about it.
Well, that's a local joke. It takes 20 minutes to get to anywhere in St. Louis. No matter where you are, 20 minutes.
So,
basically.
okay, this is the second edition. And
Yes.
is this new? Is this, how long has this been?
This has been out maybe 6 weeks at this
This
point.
is the
Oh,
one
it's new.
that includes all the places that called her up and complained that they weren't in the first edition, basically.
Well, there's so many things happening all the time. I mean, you can barely keep up with it. You have
I know,
edition
there's a
3
lot of
before
growth in this
edition
town.
2 is even
Yeah.
done.
It's called The Guidebook to St. Louis. The long title, you don't need, just remember Guidebook to St. Louis. Where can you find it?
Oh gosh, it's at Left Bank Books. It's at STL Style House. It's at the gift shops at the History Museum and the Botanic Garden, Barnes and Noble, the gift shop at Mercy Hospital if
Oh,
you
that's
happen to be
great.
there,
Good.
and,
Well,
and probably 10 other random places I can't remember.
And Amazon.com if you can't make it to any of those.
There you go.
Because,
absolutely.
it's harder to find a bookstore today than it is to find a book in a bookstore.
And if you don't want to take
So.
20 minutes to get to one, you can always go on.
That's right.
Amanda Doyle, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.